Hello, everyone. Diana Rankin here. I've been sitting here just watching that circle around, wondering if we were going to get on this time, and we did. Yay. And hello, Sheila. She says, hello, Diana. I hope you're doing well, and Piper is fine as well. Piper's doing her best under the circumstances, and we still hope to heal the cancer, but she's still playing ball and she's still eating fine, but she is not doing as well as she was. So thank you for your healing energy and your prayers. We accept them. Thank you. Juliet says hello and happy Friday. Hello, Juliet, and happy Friday to everybody. It is a great day. It's a Friday. And it is a little chilly where I am. The sun isn't out, but that's all right. We have two questions today from a person who follows us, and I thank you. And if that person wants to make themselves known and say, those are my questions, great. If they don't, that's okay with me too. I only announce if they give me permission. So these are questions. One is a follow-up question to one of our other videos, and the other is a new question. And I think they're very interesting questions. I want to also say we will get a message from one of my spirit guide, or from my spirit guide, Phillip. We do have many guides, but there's one main one. And this is the Master's Book of Answers. And as you know, it's just a book of oracles. Any day you want a message, you just open up to any page, and there's your message for the day. So we'll get our message for the week coming up. If you have questions that are of an esoteric nature, please put them in the comments below, and we will answer those questions live. If you have personal questions, you can get a hold of me through my website. My phone number's on there. My email's on there. Just get a hold of me and we'll get you an appointment. All right, my friends, let's get going here here are our questions. This is a follow-up question to the video we did a couple of weeks ago, spirituality versus religion. And here's the question. When Phillip said that wisdom is shared when the person is ready, was he referring to all types of wisdom in general or specific wisdoms? The other question is, are masters who choose to incarnate into human lives generally aware that they are masters while living as humans? Interesting questions, aren't they? Okay, here we go with the first question. Here's the answer. And that first question being, when wisdom is shared, that Phillip said, when wisdom is shared when the person is ready, and was he referring to all types of wisdom or wisdom in general or specific? Here we go. Wisdom is wisdom. And as with intellectual knowledge, there are multiple levels of wisdom. To the child in kindergarten, the teacher may seem wise, but to the teacher's peers, the teacher's wisdom is lacking. The true wise one might be the child who chooses peace over fighting, but that wisdom will only be recognized by those who are ready to understand. The same is true of all wisdom, whether we speak of the child or of the old soul ready for life's wisdom and spiritual wisdom. By life's wisdom, we speak of that which you must know in the human life. For example, being greedy with money is not wisdom. Using and understanding money to enrich your life and the lives of others is wisdom of the human level. Wisdom of the higher level, the spiritual level, comes foremost after lifetimes of practice and study, and lifetimes with an S. This wisdom is esoteric in nature, and that comes only after the human brain is wired or rewired to receive such knowledge. I want to stop for a moment, and I want to say, I was just recently talking to a friend, and she was telling me she thinks she was just rewired, and her explanation of it sure sounded like it. And I was telling her years ago, and some of you have heard this story before, I was going through a period that I should have been a little sad, and I was euphoric. And I was also very tired. So I needed some extra rest. And Philip apologized to me for making me rest so much, but he said, we need to do that for your brain to be rewired. So the friend and I were talking about this and sharing stories. And, I said, there are no words. And she, yes, there are no words in our language to really describe what happens when your brain is being rewired for this higher energy. And those of you who have experienced it, you know what I'm speaking of. For those of you who are soon to experience it, just enjoy it and get that extra rest, because if not, you'll be dragging. And it makes it easier to have the brain rewired. The brain is then rewired for this higher wisdom that we're able to absorb. Philip goes on to say, as knowledge comes and the human demonstrates by their thoughts and actions that they are ready to live the knowledge they are obtaining, they will become wise. They may not think of themselves as such, others will. Do I think of myself as wise? No, I think of myself as very human. But others have said, you have a bit of wisdom in you. You are wise. So I think that's very true. I don't think we recognize our own wisdom, our own greatness. Let us now move to the second question. So the first question is, once your brain is rewired, and now if you're already a master or higher order, that rewiring has taken place. So you're in wisdom. But again, there's human wisdom, which I think we gain as we grow, and as we age in human life, but also in those multiple lives that we live, like the little boy in kindergarten or the little girl in kindergarten who chooses peace over fighting. For those of us who are adults, we grow. I've been reading some old journals, and I don't think I realized that my whole life I've been on this spiritual journey, that my whole life God and what that meant to me was the most important thing in my life. Now, don't get me wrong, I had plenty of boyfriends and marriage and all of that. So I also lived a very human life. My career was very important at times. So I also lived a very human life. But I didn't recognize or remember, whoops, something just fell over here, sorry. I didn't remember that my whole life has also been about my spirituality and developing that. So I find that interesting to go back and reread old journals. It's like I'm reading about someone else. Okay, Philip goes on to say, we're talking about our masters who choose to incarnate into human lives, generally aware that they are masters while living as humans. Philip says, some are, some aren't. Some know from birth, others know only after death. Others discover during the course of their life. Of course, there are those who think they are masters, may even claim to be, but are not. If you ask yourself if you are a master, you are most likely not. However, you may be a master in training and drawn to those who are masters. These are the ones who teach wisdom. You may be a master in training and drawn to those who are masters. These are the ones who teach wisdom. Oh, my friends, if you're hearing my voice, we're all masters in training. We care more about the energy of love than the energy of retribution or hate or fear. We care more about loving. Let's get our message, shall we? I'm hearing right. If you heard right, our intuition's in sync. If you heard left, that's something you need to pay attention to. So this is page 39. And this is the message for all of us. You can busy yourself either with talking of the world's ills or working to correct them. You can Busy yourself either with talking of the world's ills or working to correct them. Do what you can do. You know, I used to march against the Vietnam War, and I've tried to get to 2 different protests this year um, against the current administration. And I do speak out. Um, I've spoken out, obviously, on YouTube, on my Facebook, certainly on Blue Sky. So my words are important. And something came up that stopped me from going to each of the current protests. That's not to say I won't try again, but it is to say I'm not sure that's my path this time. So look at what your path is. And if your path isn't to speak out, that's all right. Maybe it's just to hold the world in love. And that is very important, that every day we do a meditation and see ourselves, our families, our friends, and in love and light, and then spread it around the world. Thank you. All right. If you heard left, which is page 38, if you pour a gallon into a cup, the cup will overflow. If you pour a cup into a gallon, the gallon will still be empty. Let me read that again. If you pour a gallon into a cup, the cup will overflow. If you pour a cup into a gallon, the gallon will still be empty. Those of us, and I think you've heard me say this before, studies show that 17 to 20% of the population is sensitive. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, you're part of that. That means, though, 80% of the population, they're not that sensitive. And so they don't understand the depth of your love. That's not to say we don't love others who aren't able to meet that depth. Sure we do. Of course we do. It's also not to say that we don't love those that our mind says, maybe that person's not worthy of love. Well, maybe their human acts aren't and should be condemned, but they should not. We are all energy. We are all spirits. And so the more we send love to those people that we may consider enemies, not to condemn them, condemn the act, but not the person. So remember, also, you can busy yourself either with talking of the world's ills or working to correct them. Do what you need to do, my friends. And I want to say hello to Sandra from Germany. And she says, may God bless you all. Thank you. And Gaida says, hello, Diana and Piper. Wishing you and everyone a happy Friday. Mercury is direct and Venus goes direct on Sunday. May God close the wrong doors and open the right doors and bring what we need. Thank you. We can use Mercury going direct, can't we? Absolutely. It's not been the easiest time. And I don't think we're out of the rough times yet. So for all of your prayers and love, we thank you. Rush says, hello, Diana, Piper, and friends. To all of you, I thank you so much. And for those of you who live in other parts of the world, as Sheila and Sandra does, in other countries, thank you for holding the U.S. in your prayers and in light and love. We need it today so much. Love you all. Thank you. Thank you. Until the next time. See you then. There, you can see her. She just moved her little head over. And again, she is still eating and still playing ball. But I am seeing a little difference. And that's a little heart hurting. But we're doing fine because you all are helping us. Send love to yourselves. Send love to all people in our world. Thank you.